We all know it's important to stay in good physical shape, so every year we get a checkup with the doctor to make sure we're on track. But what about our finances? If you're looking to retire, it's incredibly important to have those in good shape too. That's where Phillis Sachs-Pilvinus comes in. She's been guiding her clients to and through retirement for over 30 years, making sure their retirement accounts are prepared to go the distance. It's time to retire financially fit with Phillis. Here's your host, Jen Rizek.
If you're wondering if you're on track to retire, if your money will last long enough in retirement, or if you can even afford to retire, then you probably don't have what we call an income plan. So today on Retire Financially Fit with Phillis, we'll go over what makes up an income plan to make your money last in retirement. And plus, if you're taking withdrawals from your retirement accounts, you have got to be on the lookout for the tax torpedo that could be headed your way. And we're going to help you dodge that bullet coming up a little later on in the show. Thanks again for joining us this morning on Retire Financially Fit with Phillis. Phillis, always a pleasure. I hope you're doing great this week.
I am, Jen. How about yourself?
Oh yeah, I'm doing really well, and I am excited about everything that we're going to get to today. We're certainly going to talk about having an income plan and also dodging that tax torpedo, which is going to be a fun thing to talk about here a little bit later on as well.
Right up my alley, right?
Right up your alley. That's right. But, you know, as we talk a little bit about why it's important to have an income plan, and we're going to break this down here in just a moment. Here's the thing. It is so much easier to find help on how to save money for retirement than it is to figure out what to do with those savings once you retire. I mean, you find when you do a Google search, you'll find like 15 times as many results for how to save as for how to withdraw money during retirement. And the thing is, Phyllis, we talk about an income plan because how you're taking that money out, that makes a big difference in how long the money's going to last.
Oh, gosh, you don't even want to get me started. It makes such a huge difference. And, you know, way back when, it's a long time now, but when my dad passed away, my mom was 59-year-old widow, and I had to build that first income plan. What I realized, there was this huge disconnect, and it exists even more today, where financial advisors, well-meaning, but focus more on growing your money than how to keep it and how to distribute it. And boy, that can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so our focus is, yes, we've got to help you grow it because we're not Houdini. We can't give you money that's not there.
Right.
But yet on the other hand, once you've grown it, you know, transition into this next phase where we keep it and turn it into the income stream that you need, because without cash flow in retirement, there really is no retirement. So
Right.
An income plan's essential.
Yeah, it is so important, again, to have a strategy for how you're going to be handling this money as you get into retirement. And, you know, if you are wondering if your money's going to last, you're wondering if you're on track, that probably means that you don't have what we call an income plan. But for those who aren't sure what that is, Phyllis, break down for us what an income plan is and what it isn't.
Yeah, because there's a lot of what it isn't.
Right.
That's exactly right, Jen. So in a nutshell, there is more that goes behind it. But once we figure out how much you're going to need in retirement, what an income plan should boil down to, if you've done the heavy lifting and you've saved the right amount of money, an income plan should boil down to whatever method you use. And I can explain those if we have time and we want to go into the different methods, but should boil down to a couple pieces of paper at most that tell you 5 very important things.
Okay.
How much do I need? When is that income going to start? Where is it going to come from? Is it going to come from my tax deferred account? Is it going to come from my stock account? Is it going to come from my CDs? What account, in what order is it going to come from? And we know that inflation never sleeps. So in retirement, where are we going to get raises to keep up with inflation? That's number 3. Mm-hmm. Number 4, what if I have a catastrophic illness? Where's that extra money coming from to pay for those costs? Or if I'm married and there's a premature death, you don't both die together, where is that extra income coming from? That's part of the income plan. Number 5, this is the most important question that you can answer. How long is my money going to last? Do I have enough to retire? Am I going to outlive it? An income plan, no matter what method you use, should have that laid out on 1 or 2 pieces of paper. Super simple, easy.
Right.
That's how difficult it is when it boils down. And that's what when we work with people, we figure out through our Retire Fit analysis all the things that we need to boil it down to that. And it's a roadmap in front of you. So let me tell you what an income plan isn't. It's not a bunch of pieces of paper where you've saved a lot of money. You got a 401k over here, an IRA over here, a CD over here, a stock account over here, a brokerage account over here. You get my point, here, there, everywhere. That's not one. That's what most people start with. And that's good that you've got stuff all together, but we've got to rein it in as you get close to retirement to get you to and through retirement successfully so that we can help you make the best decisions. Okay, when do you take Social Security? And that's not just in a vacuum based upon, what's the best way to get most of your money back from Social Security. It should be in the context of your overall plan. How much of your money, what's your tax liability, what's your health look like, how long are you going to live, are you single, are you married, do you have a pension, all of that good stuff. Another thing that an income plan is not is a good performance report. When you go to your advisor and they give you this 3-page report telling you how all your investments did.
Yep. Okay.
Right?
We all
That's
have this.
great.
Right.
Yeah. And the market's been doing so well for such a long time. Some minor bumps, of course, some ups and downs, but for the most part, that's wonderful. But quite frankly, it's complicated and it doesn't tell you how much money is going to end up in your checking account to live your life in retirement reliably. So that is not an income plan. And again, that kind of drives me crazy. That's not an income plan. And I'll tell you, for the majority of people, I said I wasn't going to get into the different ways that you can structure an income plan. Another thing that I see very popular is what's called the, withdrawal rule. And it's typically 4% withdrawal of your money. So for example, let's say that you need $60,000 a year coming into your household above and beyond Social Security and everything else right out of the gates. So you got a pension, you got Social Security, and then you need an additional $60,000. I'm not making this up as I go. So a general rule of thumb is to take all of your investments and pull out 4% a year, factored for inflation, to make up that difference or some withdrawal percentage. And put your money 60% stocks, 40% bonds, or 50-50, something close to that. To me, that's not an income plan unless you have a crystal ball and you know exactly what the market's going to do each and every year. That could implode if you go into a bad market, a volatile market. And quite frankly, even though the market's been doing great, people have struggled with that because bond rates are so low. So an income plan is something that's going to reliably get you the money. It's going to boil down and be simple. And of course, we'll tweak it along the way. But I'm going to go over again because it's so important. When is the income going to start? How much is it going to be? When am I going to pull Social Security, pension, all of that good stuff? Where's it going to come from? We break it down into buckets, if you will. Where are our raises going to come from? Where are we going to get money if there's a premature death of a spouse to make up that loss of income? Or if there's a catastrophic illness? And real easy, how long will our money last? Are we retirement ready? And so if you can't answer all these questions, I want you to pick up the phone right now and call us at 623-792-5496 to get your Retire Fit analysis. We'll go through all of this. We'll take your whole, boxes full of paperwork and put it into this format to see if you're on track. That's really what the Retire Fit analysis boils down to. And if there's one of these questions that I just went through that you can't absolutely go to a reference page or two and answer, you really ought to come on in and get it done. And remember, there's not an obligation. It is complimentary. If we can help you, that's fantastic. If we decide to work together, that's even better. The idea is to help you understand this so that you know whether you're on track to retire or not. Again, that number is 623-792-5496, or you can go to the website, retirewithpsp.com, and right on there is my calendar link showing you different appointment slots that we have. So either way, but if you can't answer these 5 simple steps, pull out a couple pieces of paper, a graphic, and know the answers to these questions, wow, you ought to call me.
That's right. That's right. And Phyllis, I love how you really gave us the how, when, where, and what about an income plan. And I just want to tack on here the who and the why, right? Like what you were just talking about. Because if, as you said, Phyllis, if you don't know if your money will last, if you don't know how much money you'll need in retirement, when it'll start, where it will come from, and what you'll do if there's a catastrophic illness or other emergency, this is the why. This is why you need to get started on that retire fit analysis.
Yeah,
I think we
absolutely.
covered all of them there, the who, what, when, where, why, and how, right?
That's great to break it down that way. That's exactly right. And don't be surprised if your accumulation specialist, that advisor that you've worked with, who you love and who's done a great job, hasn't shown you this, because that's not exactly what they focus on. They help you accumulate. That's an important job. But as you get into the retirement red zone, probably 10 years before retirement, or if you're retired, the rules change. And that's where the disconnect comes in. For most advisors, they're great at the accumulation phase. They mean well for the preservation stage, the retirement stage, but they don't break it down, and it could cost, most times, and it could cost you tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right. So call us at 623-792-5496. Get that first opinion, second opinion, and we'll go from there.
That's right. And again, it won't cost you anything. There's no obligation. You do want to take advantage of this opportunity to get some answers from Phyllis to make sure that you won't run out of money. And you might even be able to boost the size of your portfolio by getting some help. So get started today, 623-792-5496. Now, if you are taking withdrawals from your retirement accounts, you have got to be on the lookout for the tax torpedo that could be headed your way. We're going to help you dodge that bullet coming up next. Stay with us.
If you owed almost $28 trillion and you didn't have the money to pay it off, what would you need to do? Make a lot more money, right? Well, now America's debt is more than $28 trillion, and taxes are at historically low levels. It doesn't take a genius to realize taxes will probably go up. Now, think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now, when rates are low, or later, when rates are much higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus and the team at PSP & Associates know what to look for. Call 623-792-5496 to set up a visit with Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus and the team at PSP & Associates. That's 623-792-5496. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call now, 623-792-5496. Firm offers insurance services and may not give tax advice. Investment advisory services are offered through PSP Financial Services, LLC, an Arizona-registered investment advisor.
Thanks for joining us this morning on Retire Financially Fit with Phyllis. Jen Rezac here alongside Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus. Phyllis is excited to tell you the truth about what you need to do to get financially fit. And if you are taking withdrawals from your retirement accounts, you have got to be on the lookout for the tax torpedo that could be headed your way. It's an important part of our conversation today on creating an income plan for your future. And Phyllis, some people who delay Social Security until age 70, then they have to start taking money out of their retirement savings at age 72. They could be pushed into a higher tax bracket. This could launch us up there, force us to dig deeper into our savings to cover the tax bill. That's the tax torpedo we're talking about. But this has been on your radar for a long time, way before these headlines started to hit on this.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, this is kind of one of the biggest areas that I focus on. I got to tell you, I really believe that tax preparation, tax planning, distribution, tax efficient distribution strategies, helping people to figure out how to take their money, when to take it, where to take it from tax efficiently, has put more money back in our client's pocket than probably any other area. One of the biggest reasons to pick up the phone and call me is if you follow conventional wisdom, which I know you have, and you've got a retirement account. Yeah. And I better say, we've kind of been light years ahead of most people. I've had many disagreements with accountants over the years who say, no, you want to take from your after-tax money and let your retirement accounts grow longer. Let them grow longer. And at the end of the day, our software, we've got great software, will show people time in and time again, if you don't start looking at your future tax liability and understand what it's going to cost you over your lifetime to wait on taking your Social Security, as you said, and wait on taking distributions from your retirement account, you're going to have a huge tax bomb. Wow. You're going to give back most of the money that you scrimped and saved for. Yeah. And when we lay out that number and people see how much of their hard-earned savings they're going to give back to Uncle Sam throughout their lifetime, if they follow that strategy, wait to take the retirement accounts until they have to, they see hundreds of thousands of dollars slip away. And then it's at that point that we can then back into a withdrawal strategy that's tax efficient. Whether we do things like tap into the retirement accounts first, whether we take Social Security first and do some Roth conversions. I mean, there are many strategies. It looks different for everybody. But it all starts with understanding your future tax liability, eyes wide open, and understanding where those numbers come from. So a very, very important part of avoiding that tax torpedo in our Retire Fit analysis is to educate you, show you your numbers and where they came from. This is your life, what your future tax liability is going to be like. And then, if that at all concerns you, and believe me, it does when people are faced with it and put it in front of them, now what can we do to reduce or eliminate your taxes? And I'll tell you, generally speaking, we can help people reduce and sometimes eliminate their taxes by doing this. Wow. More times than not, we can really put money back in people's pockets together by developing a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy with them. And it takes planning. So tax prep is your CPA or your tax preparer. What are you going to pay for taxes that year? Tax planning is what is my future liability and how can I reduce or eliminate that legally, morally, and ethically? And our Retire Fit analysis will walk you through that whole process. That's a big, big part of, the income plan, all of it. It all fits together like a puzzle. So pick up the phone and call us at 623-792-5496 to get started at understanding what your future tax liability is. And is there, in fact, a tax torpedo headed your way? If you've got retirement accounts, I'm going to bet, yeah, there is. 623-792-5496.
That number again, 623-792-5496. So important that we understand what you're talking about here, Phyllis, with making sure we are tax efficient when we are taking that money out. I think this is a good time to bring up our mailbag question that we have. You can go to retirewithpsp.com to connect with Phyllis online. But question here from Craig in Peoria about RMDs, which is required minimum distributions. He says, what are the rules for when I have to start taking money out of my 401k? And Phyllis, this is something that we need to be aware of as we're talking about how we're taking money from those accounts, understanding the tax impacts and the penalties that we could be hit with.
Yeah, that's so let's talk about the penalties first. Okay. So if you're under 59 and a half and you take money out of an IRA or a 401k, there'll be a 10% penalty plus taxes, unless there's some exceptions. There's a few exceptions. We don't necessarily have to go into that, but the average person, okay? So if your 401k, if you normally stay there and you work past 72, you don't have to take a distribution until you retire. But when you do retire, or if you retire before 72, you have to start taking out a certain amount at 72, and each year thereafter, pay the taxes on that amount. It's called your required minimum distribution. And if you don't take out at least what's required, there'll be a penalty of 50% on the amount that you should have taken out.
50%,
50%, 50. So, Craig, if you're still working at 72 and you don't own more than 5% of that company, you can delay taking your distribution from your 401k, but you've got to start taking it the next year. Your IRA, you have to start taking a distribution at 72. And this is a point to say, this is where it gets real confusing, and you want someone who's an Ed Slott disciple, someone like myself who does this every day perhaps, to at least get things in order for you. Let's say you have 3 401ks and you have 2 IRAs and you're retired. At 72, because it's called a 401k, you're going to have to take a distribution from each 401k, each one. And if you don't take one from each one, even if you take enough out of one to cover that distribution, you'll get a 50% penalty on, the distribution you should have taken from each one. That's huge. So you've got to take a distribution separately from each 401k. And if you're not working, that's got to happen at 72. If you are working, you can wait till you retire to take it out of the one from the company that you're still working at. Now, if you have IRAs, Craig, and I know you didn't ask this, but I might as well throw it out there. You could have 30 IRAs as long as you total up what your required minimum distribution is for that year, starting at 72. You can take it out of one of your IRAs, all of them, some of them, as long as it adds up. But your 401ks, each one you've got to take a distribution from to avoid the 50% penalty. That's why if you've got stuff all over the place, let's put it all together and organize it so you don't get a penalty to boot, plus pay all the taxes as that money comes out. That's another good way to avoid that tax torpedo.
Right. And again, and as we've said, it is just time to sound the alarm that higher taxes are probably coming and time could be running out for you to do something about it. We've talked about this tax torpedo, but most people don't realize we are in a low tax rate environment. It doesn't always feel like it, but they are lower now, and these taxes aren't going to stay at this point on sale forever. They're going to go up. But even at their current low rates, they can swipe away at your savings, leaving you with just a fraction of the money that you were counting on for retirement.
Yeah, please don't assume that you won't be impacted by President Biden's proposed tax increases because you don't think you're wealthy enough. I bet just about everyone, and that includes you, has a few areas that you could become more tax efficient with your retirement money. That's why, if you're listening to the show now, I want to help you. I want to help you understand the potential impact taxes can have on your retirement savings. I want to help you learn about ways to reduce or possibly eliminate your taxes in retirement. And I want to help you create an income strategy so your retirement income lasts as long as you need it to. So if you're listening to my voice today, this is for you. It's not going to cost you anything to do this analysis, and there's no obligation. Whether you have $500,000 to several $1,000,000 saved, or perhaps even less, we can help you go over your retirement accounts and uncover what your possible tax liabilities are in the future. And we'll talk about some of the strategies that can help you reduce your taxes down the road. It could mean tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket to spend it the way you want to spend it in retirement. Again, there's no cost and there's no obligation, but you've got to call now, and that number is 623-792-5496.
There is just a short window of opportunity to take action to keep taxes from taking too much of a bite out of your savings. It could mean tens of thousands of dollars back in your pocket. 623 888-792-5496. You've been listening to Retire Financially Fit with Phyllis. That's all the time we have today. Be sure to tune in again next week for more insights from Phyllis. I'm Jen Rezac. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you have a great week. Investment advisory services are offered through PSP Financial Services, LLC, an Arizona registered investment advisor. PSP Financial Services is an independent financial services firm that helps people create retirement strategies using a variety of insurance and investment products. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to safety, security, or guaranteed lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investment products. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. PSP Financial Services, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. You should talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions about your personal situation. We are not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.